What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to our third video in the 2025 Philo Sports NHL Draft Guide. Today we'll be reviewing specifically our top 10 wingers on the board. The way we came about this is we had 5 members of Philo Sports each scout a few prospects and then assign them a grade using the grading scale that's on your screen right now. We then use that assigned grade to form a big board consisting of 55 players. But today we will be revealing our top 10 wingers. But throughout this whole draft week here, we have 2 other videos both showing our top 15 centers and top 10 defenders in the draft, both uploaded earlier in the week. So go check those out as well. Like, subscribe, leave a comment with your opinion, hit our bell, get alerted to future videos, and hope you enjoy. Our number 10 winger and number 31 overall player in the draft is Nhl Draft. Apologies, that's another hard one for me here, but he's coming in with a grade of 6.28, 6'1", 163 pounds, out of the MHL. He is an elite puck handler, extremely creative, and this is what this note here from our member who scouted him is probably one of my favorite notes of any prospect in the draft. Plays like it's EASHL. And if you know what EASHL is, that's all you need to know. He has a strong wrist shot. He's not a very impressive skater. Doesn't really play any defense. Doesn't really have that interest or ability. Played against some weaker competition and needs to put on some more weight. Will definitely need to... he needs to rein in the crazy plays a little bit if he ever wants to be in the NHL. He got elevated to the KHL for the playoffs and did play with the team structure, which is encouraging. So potentially a coachable player to get these traits that you're looking for. Will be a fun second-round project for whoever drafts him. So that is Nhl Draft coming out of the MHL. Our number 9 winger and number 29 player overall on our big board is Nhl Draft, another hard one, grade of 6.3. He is coming in at 6'6", 209 from the MHL as well. He's a good skater who effortlessly flies up and down the ice. Very, very physical, which for his size you like to see. He's often very physical. High volume shooter who generates scoring chances, uses his big body to shield from defenders in the offensive zone. He can be careless with the puck at times, needs to work on learning when not to shoot, as he shoots often, and these shots tend to go into defenders' shin pads sometimes. Very shoot-first player. He flashes his playmaking ability, but it needs improvement. He did draw a comp first here that is Lawson Krause from the now Utah Mammoth. That's Nhl Draft, 6.3 grade, 29 overall. Next winger on our board, coming in at 28th overall on the board, is Riker Lee, 6.31 grade, 6 foot, 185 pounds, coming out of the USHL. He has very silky hands that lead to an abundance of offensive chances, great vision, and displays some solid hockey IQ on film. He's not the most physical player in the world, not the best defender, and those are areas of his game that he should look to develop. He's not the biggest player in the world, like we said, 6 foot, 185 pounds, but that's definitely playable size in today's NHL game. If he develops a little bit of willingness to be physical, he doesn't need to be laying guys out. But in specific areas around the boards, around the net, that can help him out. So 185 pounds as a prospect isn't too light either. He's going to need to put on some weight for the NHL game, it appears. But overall, Riker Lee, solid prospect. We have him here in the first round, our third best tier for a prospect, and receiving a grade of 6.31. Next winger on the board, and number 27 overall in the class, is Vaclav Nestrashil. He is coming out of the USHL, 6'5", 185 pounds. He's a 6'5" power forward who can still put on weight. He will be able to, because moving to the NCAA next season. He pests his opponents and has a very high motor most of the time. He's not afraid to hit. Very good puck handler, which for his size is an impressive ability. He needs to improve his decision making though. Sometimes pressure can force some unforced errors. I shouldn't say unforced. The pressure's forcing it, but it will force errors in his game. He'll be a multi-year development project. Second line ceiling is there though, so hopefully you get him to a team that is able to develop him, and you have a good middle six forward projection here. So coming in with a grade of 6.32, and that is number 27 overall on our big board. Now, time for one of the most interesting prospects in the draft. We have Cameron Schmidt as our next winger, 25 overall on the big board, 6.35 grade. Here's where it gets interesting. 5'7", 160 pounds coming out of the WHL. Now, very undersized is the first note on him, but he has the speed and skill to make up for it. Explosive skater with impressive stride length for his size. He's a shoot-first player, good puck skills and offensive awareness. very offensively minded. Sometimes jumps out of the D zone a little too early in hopes of starting a breakup before it even happens. But in the offensive zone, that's what we like. He forechecks, but he could be more aggressive on it. So the forecheck want is there. Just maybe a little coaching to get him where he needs to be. He lacks defensive awareness, and he needs to work on defensive positioning. As we stated earlier, sometimes he'll leave the D zone early. He needs to work on using his stick to break up passing lanes. His size gives him a big disadvantage along those board battles there. Timing on passes can be improved, so we see the offensive vision here for Cameron Schmidt. Just we are concerned about the other areas of his game he needs to develop, and you pair that with his size concerns. Maybe one of the more riskier prospects in the draft here, but we do see a vision. We have him going in the first round, at least on our big board number-wise at number 25. And that's with a grade of 6.35, Cameron Schmidt. Next winger on our board is Malcolm Spence, 20 overall on the big board with a grade of 6.49. 6 foot, 190 pounds, coming out of the OHL, playing for the Erie Otters there. He's a true 200-foot two-way forward who really excels defensively. He has ripe offensive potential. Going to need some coaching. He's a defense to offense creator. He has 5 shorthanded goals last season where he was playing. Aggressive forechecker, patient with the puck on his stick, elite defensive awareness. He displays some very good poise in the D zone on film. He shows that he's a good skater who can accelerate quickly to jump into rushes, and he recognizes when to not be too aggressive. So safe-minded, but he does possess the IQ to know when a risk is worth taking. He profiles as an elite defensive forward in the NHL. He will fit best in a defense-first system. Prime Islanders probably would have loved this guy. Offensive game is still developing and improving. He has potential to be one of those players in the... This is a ceiling take, by the way. He has potential to be one of those players that you think should win a Selke Trophy. Who knows if he ever will be in that discussion, but he needs to reach his offensive ceiling to really find himself in that discussion. But we're projecting him as a guy whose defensive game should really translate to the NHL level. Once again, not stating that you're getting a Selke forward here, but if all things go right, he's a guy who could be in that conversation. And a middle of the first round prospect, that's a chance I'd take. So Malcolm Spence is a safe pick, especially if you're looking for a two-way forward. Fun player, especially if you can coach that offensive ceiling into him. He seems very smart. Hopefully that correlates to being a coachable player there. So Malcolm Spence, 6.49 grade. Our next winger and number 16 overall on our big board is Justin Carbonneau, coming out of the QMJHL. He has one of the best shots displayed in the class. More of an instinctual player than anticipatory. He's very dynamic when the puck is on his stick, and he's displaying his top-end speed and elite puck-handling abilities. He is a very precise long-distance passer, but he needs to work on making smarter, quick, short passes in some situations. He's certainly not afraid to take on risky plays, and he kind of displays an inconsistent motor on film. Interesting prospect. Said that a lot about players in this class. 6.58 grade, number 16 overall on the big board. A lot of things to like in Justin Carbonneau. Next winger on our big board at number 14 overall is Lyndon Lakovich, grade of 6.59, 6'4", 200 pounds out of the WHL. He is a very versatile forward who displays some very good awareness, and his film shows that he works quite hard on the ice. He moves well for his size, and he does know how to use his size well. And what I mean by this, with him at least, is he knows how to use his reach. His stick just appears longer than other players on the ice. He was very vital on special teams, both power play and penalty kill for his team. He applies some very good pressure in both areas. A lot of his production was on plays off the rush, but he also knows what to do with the puck to continue offensive cycles for his team. He displays an impressive release and accuracy with his shots. A lot of his shots just appeared to go top corner when he was scoring goals. It was very impressive. Little note on him is he was suspended for off-ice conduct as a 16-year-old. Nothing much really came of that besides the suspension there. Other players on his team were suspended as well. 16 years old and no legal action. I'm not too concerned about it, but I did want to note that for him there. But overall, it's a prospect I like. His name, Lyndon Lakovich, 6.59 grade. Carter Bear, next winger on our board, and jumping into the number 2 tier, 12th overall on the board, 6.62 grade, 6 foot, 179 pounds out of the WHL. Bear is a very high motor and has a very high motor and compete level. And we're talking best motor or second best motor in the class. And you've heard us, we've noted multiple players having very good compete levels. He's very physical, very good playmaker, and displays some very good hockey IQ. Very responsible in the defensive end of the ice, and he should improve his skating and puck handling as he continues to develop. He suffered a partially lacerated Achilles in March, but is already back skating. Kind of a scary injury. You look at players like Jack Quinn for the Buffalo Sabres, who suffered some partial Achilles injuries, and it can be tough to come back from. But with him already skating, there's not too much concern for the severity. Looks like he's recovering. Carter Bear, 6.62 grade. Our number 2 winger in the class and number 8 overall on the board is Victor Eklund with a grade of 6.73. He's 5'11", 169 pounds, coming out of Sweden. He is very, I don't want to say very, he's undersized, he needs to put on some weight, but his motor more than makes up for that there. He's constantly active in hounding puck carriers on the forecheck or really all over the ice. He displays elite speed. He's a very creative playmaker that will rush the center of the ice on the rush. Even with his smaller frame, he uses his leverage to his advantage on the boards to protect the puck and maintain possession. He uses explosiveness on the rush to change direction rather than just skating full speed forward. He did draw a player account from us that is Seth Jarvis of the Carolina Hurricanes. If you're familiar with his game, you kind of see what we're trying to break down here for Victor Eklund. In the end, 8th overall on the board, grade of 6.73. Our number 1 player in the class and potentially spicy take here from Philo Sports is Porter Martone, receiving a grade of 7.0. Now, with our grading scale, a grade of 7.0 or higher displays a blue chip prospect. So we have Porter Martone as a blue chip prospect. He is 6'3", 204 pounds, coming out of the OHL. He displays elite hockey IQ. He has a great interceptive shot, elite passing, and elite vision. He's not afraid to use his size to his advantage. He can improve on his skating and explosiveness, though, which we're hoping doesn't hold him back in the NHL, or else this take may be a little tough. But the skill on film is undeniable. It was enough for us to give him right at the edge of blue chip prospect, 7.0 grade. Porter Martone, number 1 winger in the class. That doesn't feel as a hot take. Number 3 doesn't feel as a hot take, but we're throwing him in that blue chip territory with Schaefer and Misa. So high praise for Porter Martone. And he rounds out our top 10 wingers in the 2025 NHL Draft class. Appreciate you guys watching the video. We plan on having a grades video after the draft takes place here over today and tomorrow. Today's currently Friday. So once again, yeah, thanks for checking it out. Hope you enjoyed, and feel free to leave your opinions in the comments below.